After months of delays, Portland's first Safe Rest Village is about to open. Really? It's the site on Southwest Naito at the south edge of downtown Portland. It'll house the Queer Affinity Village, which already exists. It's moving from a pod in inner southeast Portland to the new location. It was somewhat unique in that the Naito Village had a lot of support from the neighbors. That is, until last week anyway. The 2300 Naito Parkway Stakeholder Group is a community group organized by the leaders of two schools in the area that had been working with neighborhood associations to prepare for the village. Last Friday, they held a news conference to say, not anymore. They're out. They cannot and will not support it anymore.
Our collective voices have not been heard. What I do know is that as of today, and after 7 months of work on behalf of the stakeholder group, none of these conditions have been met. And because of that, it is with a very heavy, heavy heart that the 2300 Southwest Naito Stakeholder Group is rescinding our support of the Safe Rest Village.
So what are those conditions? Well, the biggest issue, they say, is the city and county refusing to require background checks for the people who are going to live in the village. The group says they only want low barrier background checks looking for major felony convictions, things like sexual assault or arson. They also want a 1,000-foot monitored buffered zone around the village where unsanctioned camping would be banned. It's a lot bigger than the 150-foot buffer that current city rules put in place. But mostly they say they feel like they're just not being heard. They called out Multnomah County Mayor Ted Wheeler and Commissioner Dan Ryan, who they say have denied, dismissed, and ignored their concerns.
And we would like to know what it will take to ensure the village's safety and the safety of our community. What will it take to be heard by our elected officials to answer our calls, our emails, and our requests for collaboration? Our collective voices have not been heard.
Like most residents and business owners throughout the city, we are experiencing a great deal of drug use, crime, and other safety concerns in the close vicinity of our children. We have to have dedicated staff members to help us with that cleanup. We are not getting support from the city or county now, and our big concern is that, as we have seen with other Safe Rest villages and C-3PO sites throughout the city, that it will attract additional peripheral camping, drug use, predatory drug dealers, and a build-up of trash and biohazard without support.
Well, according to Commissioner Dan Ryan, that's not exactly accurate. In a long statement, Ryan said, first of all, he has met with them personally. Here's a photo of that meeting, by the way. And he said there have been more than a dozen meetings with representatives and consistent communication with the stakeholder group. He even offered to share public records to prove it. Ryan also addressed their demands, pointing out the city's 150-foot buffer zone rule came in direct response to a specific request for a buffer that big from the Downtown Neighborhood Association, which is part of that stakeholder group. As far as background checks go, Ryan said, as a policy, no publicly funded shelters in Multnomah County screen for criminal history. He wrote, the primary goal of our services, First Villages, is to meet people where they are and to engage them in services that build stability, dignity, and resilience. That includes removing the obstacles that often keep someone who is unsheltered from coming into shelter. He added that the village still has a code of conduct that villagers must follow, and there is 24/7 on-site services. The group also wants Safe Rest Village advisory boards for each village, which would include neighborhood and community members to make sure that their voices are being heard. Ryan said the city's Safe Rest Village team is open to that idea and would welcome additional conversation with the Joint Office of Homeless Services on how exactly that could work. The new Queer Affinity Village is expected to open this month.